Hey, it's me. And it has been a long time since I made a face-to-face video. It's been about like 2 years, I think? 2 years since I made a face-to-face video with my videos, like why I don't upload videos anymore. I don't know what I was going through. I was going through like a hard time, but yeah. I'm in the same room, same place. I want to say same time, maybe same time. It's about like 8:30, and in about 4 hours, what's the worst year ever is about to end. 3.5, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, wow, it has been quite a year. And I hope you all are safe. I hope you all are, keeping positive despite all the things that have happened this year. Trust me, it will get better. But I don't know when. Nobody knows, but it's okay. We're going to get through this because we've gone through worse, believe me. We just haven't even realized it. I feel like this year, as though it's the worst year ever, it should be noted, like, to me it is, to everyone it is, but to me it's also the most intellectual year, the smartest year in my opinion, because it really just outlined how we as humans can put a lot of damage to the earth without us even realizing it. How the end of the world could come sooner than later, and we're never going to be prepared for it. That no matter how advanced we are in society, in technology, in anything really, the world's gonna end, and we could end it a lot sooner than we anticipated. But to me, my mind grew this year, especially with how YouTube has been, and why I realize now, okay, so this is why I stopped doing YouTube. Not because I hated people, or not because people hated me, or hated what I was doing, but because YouTube changed. And I didn't even realize that. Let me put this into terms. Let me tell you all a backstory for YouTube to understand why YouTube changed for me, or why I just couldn't do this as much as I wanted to. YouTube started in 2011, and I had moved back from the Middle East with my parents and my family and everyone else. And we had a computer, and we realized there was this new program called YouTube that we hadn't even realized. We were young at the time, and we just realized YouTube was now starting to be this big thing. Or it wasn't really big; it was growing. With the concept of it, starting to be a bit popular among the internet. So we hit on YouTube, and believe me, the first, like, from 2011 to 2012, those were like one of the golden years of YouTube to me. I remember just watching a bunch of Minecraft videos and a bunch of gaming videos and whatnot, and I really enjoyed it. I was really entertained by what it had to do, because I love to play video games, and just, the idea of you playing a video game, just simply playing a video game, not even to win, just to have fun, and broadcast it all the way to the internet, really just took my mind. It took my breath away, honestly. And as much as I'd still love to do that now, it's not as simple or not as big as it used to be. And that's why I'm very hesitant to just go out on my computer and start playing games, because it's just not the same anymore. And I'll explain why, or I'll give you reason why in a minute. But overall, for a few years after that, YouTube was just this app that I was using to just have fun, to laugh, to giggle, to cry, to rage, to get angry, to everything. Every emotion that I had was from this app of YouTube. And don't get me wrong, I still use the app, okay? I'm still, like, it's the most used app on my phone. But I'm now finding myself, I don't use it for entertainment anymore. I only use it for news and politics. Which is nothing wrong, but that's if, you're into that. And I'm not into that. I just use it because the world's about to end, and I want to know, like, what are the big leaders doing? And quite frankly, they're not doing it so great. Not gonna get political. I hate to get political. I really hate politics. But it is important, but I can't talk about it. I just can't stand learning about government all over again. Yeesh. Don't take me back to freshman year. But yeah, I mean, this year has made me realize that life is limited. It's a gift, but it's a limited gift. And I have to accept the idea that I should be thankful for what I have. As a kid, I felt like I had nothing. I wanted everything. And even if I have the entire world in my hand, I'm still going to want more. And they're going to be like, well, what more do you want? And then I'll question myself, like, why did I want all this stuff? Sometimes it's better to have some things that'll get you through life than have everything. The issue for me is that, for YouTube, I thought I can gain so much. I thought I could just entertain myself and gain so much from it. It sucks when you do so much but only gain so little in the end. You work hard, you do everything, and you have this ambition in your mind that I'm gonna get this, and you never get it. You don't even get it, anything. You could get something close to that, but sometimes you don't even get anything from it. And that's what I felt with this whole YouTube thing, especially with why I started so late. For me, I call this like the dark ages of YouTube, from like now to like 2017. And I'll explain that all of a second. How YouTube just felt like the simplicity was taken out of it anymore, out of it, and that's because because it grew, more celebrities were like, all right, well, if you don't grow on here, we'll grow on there, and they basically dominated YouTube and made it into this clout machine. Here's what I mean. Literally, YouTube is the idea, the simplicity of it was great, but then some people decided, let me just show people off what I have in terms of, money and my car and my house and everything, and just brag about how I have everything and they don't. And that sort of, generated with so many people. The idea of YouTube, the simplicity is that you just take a camera, either a phone or whatever camera you have, act stupid or be serious or whatever, and, entertain people through that video. You broadcast the video up to the internet and you entertain people with it. And that's the idea. That's what's great about YouTube. Nowadays, it's more so like how much money you have, or how much you can do with that money, or why you can do with this money. I'm not saying, doing like a bunch of money pranks like Mr. Beast is wrong, but most people, what they'll do is they'll say, look at my house, or look at all my cars, and then they'll make a bunch of music videos from those, just saying, look at my car, look at my swag and whatnot, or my gear and whatnot, and they'll intimidate more to just assume, all right, if I'm gonna be good on YouTube, I gotta get money, I gotta get that house, I gotta get that car, I gotta get everything, and then they'll do it, and then they won't feel as happy as it is. YouTube isn't like that. YouTube is all about how much you can entertain, and how many people you can entertain, and how you entertain. That's the idea of YouTube. It's an entertainment center, not a clout machine. But sadly, this year made me realize that, ever since YouTube just died down for me, it really just, put me in a hole where I didn't want to be in. It put me in a trap that I didn't want to be in. I didn't set off the trap, but I'm in it. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with being rich. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with, showing people what you have. It's okay. I do it, believe me. I wouldn't like go up to people's face saying like, I got this and you don't, but I feel like when you have all that, when you have the world in your hand, you're bound to make mistakes. You're bound to believe that your fans or the internet will support you no matter what if you just do what you do. But you have to put this into regulation that you have rules. You have guidelines to follow. You have to follow your instincts. You can't just assume that you can do everything in the world and people will still appreciate for you. You can act stupid, but act smart when you're acting stupid. It's weird for me to say, but like, there's nothing wrong with being this hilarious comedian who just likes to crack jokes all the time, and sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're not, but you have to put it in perspective. You can't let your guard down, okay? And it's happened so much with so many celebrities, especially this year. I'm not going to name anybody because, I could be wrong, I could be right. I don't want to attack anybody. But you've seen how so many people have been exposed through lies or through allegations or anything, really, through the internet. The internet's not a safe place. It's a whole new world, but it's, and fireworks. They interrupt me. I forget what I'm saying, I know. The issue that I have, and the reason that I find YouTube so difficult for me to do, or anything entertainment-wise that's going to get online, or on the internet, or on TV, or whatever, is that I'm afraid to fall into the wrong trap without me even realizing it. I feel like so many celebrities have been through there. They'll be this entertaining guy or gal who, has fun, cracks jokes, makes people laugh, makes people cry, makes people experience, makes people intelligent, motivates them. But at the end of the day, what's on camera is different from what's off camera. You never know that. You never know who the real person is until you physically meet them. And then once all it takes is like one rumor, and then once it gets all the way on the internet, it's all of a sudden, wow. Well, I'm sorry. Well, it's too late for that. And that's what I'm afraid to fall into. You know, I haven't done anything wrong yet. I mean, with my videos, it could get me in trouble and everything, but I haven't done anything to offend anybody. This is just some stupid skits that I'm doing. But I'm afraid to fall in that trap. And especially with how YouTube is, and how, again, like I say, it's literally a clout machine. It's not an entertainment center. I'm at a much easier situation to fall into that. And that's what's sad, you know. I don't want to, again, call out names, but so many people will think that, you know, oh, the minute you show your face, everything will be all right on the internet. But the longer you are on the internet, the more information people will know about you, the more you can be exposed. No matter what it is, when you're on the internet, people can get to you without you even realizing it. I'm afraid to, and I can guarantee you a handful of celebrities who did the wrong thing didn't even know they were doing the wrong thing when they actually did it. It just took the media and their fans and everyone else to tell them, hey, you did this and you did it wrong, and now people hate you, and now you gotta be like, well, I'm sorry, I didn't want to do this, I didn't mean to do it, I didn't know what I was doing, I was just a young idiot teenager or whatnot. So I'm sorry, but people don't easily forgive you, especially with how the internet is, because especially when you're meeting a bunch of strangers on this whole new world, not everyone's forgiving, trust me. And that's the thing with YouTube nowadays. It's not about how you entertain them, it's why you entertain them. It's what you're entertaining with. You know the saying, you don't need all this fancy equipment to gain people's attention on the internet, but apparently now it is. Nowadays it is. It's now like you have to have the house, you have to have this money, you have to have this equipment to do it, and you have to do it professionally. There's nothing wrong with a professional video, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, let's not do that. I'm just saying, why is it that it's hard for people who just want to do it simple, who don't want to spend all this money, who don't want to show off their fortunes or whatever, or their luxuries or whatever, to find success, to find entertainment again. That's the issue with me. I'm obviously not this rich guy or anything, but I love to entertain people. But I realize it's not about that anymore. It's about what you have and how you can entertain with it. It's not how you entertain. I don't know. Really, this year has just opened my eyes more. It made me realize that I can't be the kid that I was 4 years ago. I can't assume that if I act stupid, people will like me. I have to act smart, even if I'm being comedic. But yeah, this is essentially the reason why YouTube just really fell downhill for me, especially like after 2016, where people started uploading these weird music videos. I'm not going to say who or what, but you probably will have an idea of what I'm talking about. And they'll upload these stupid music videos of when they say, I got all the cars, I got all the house, I'm living here, I'm living there, I got the money, I got everything, and I'm just going to make a music video basically flexing off that stuff. And it's sort of that, I'm starting to think that's the pandemic on YouTube, not COVID on YouTube. On YouTube, it's just clout, It's literally just a clout machine, and I've said it once, I'll say it again, it's a clout machine, not an entertainment center. And don't get me wrong, if you think YouTube is entertaining for you still, by all means, I feel happy for you, I feel great, I'm not saying let's all assume that YouTube's just a clout thing, but to me it is, and that's why I'm having such a hard time, or any motivation at all to continue with it. It's not because I hate it, it's not because I hate what I'm doing. I've accepted the idea that no matter what I do on this platform, I'm gonna hate it, or I'm gonna be embarrassed by it, it's gonna be cringe. I can guarantee you, like, literally 2 hours after this video is uploaded and I view it, I'm gonna hate it, I'm gonna regret it. I've slowly learned to accept that no matter what I do, it's going to be embarrassing, and that's okay. Everyone who, starts something new, either on social media or, just on camera or whatever, is going to be embarrassing. And everyone has the right to feel embarrassed. You just, I got to man up. Everyone's going to man up and just, start saying to themselves, you know what, it's embarrassing. Who do I care? Why do they care? As long as I do what I love and it's not harming anybody. Believe me, this year just made me feel like I'm only one man in the world. We're all victims in this, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't turn into villains. We still gotta learn, we still gotta make mistakes, we still gotta go through life one day at a time until, our days come, and we just have to accept it. But we can do so much in this limited amount of time. The issue for me is that they think that I should start off big, that I should start getting all this crazy loot and whatnot to get somewhere. I don't need money or any equipment to get anywhere. I can simply just, like what I'm doing right now, taking this phone I'm not even holding still. Literally, it's taking one hand, I can't even feel this arm right now, to just record. But I'm here to provide a motivational message to say that this is what YouTube is. And this is what's going to turn out to be if, we don't start realizing that YouTube is not about what you have. It's about what you can do. How you entertain people. And even though YouTubers do that nowadays, it's not just, essentially with YouTubers, lack of YouTubers doing that, because there are some YouTubers who do that. It's also just the viewership in general, because many people have grown from that. And I can understand, but it's causing more of a disease, just making YouTube a loot box. Just essentially saying you need money, you need equipment, you need all this rich stuff to get somewhere. And that's what's sad. That's what's hard for me as an entertainer, or as a so-called entertainer, to do on this platform. And that's why over the years I was like, you know what, I started this way too late. I should have done this like years ago. I don't feel comfortable doing it now. I'm not saying I'm quitting. I'm saying I'm having a hard time just doing YouTube in general, not because I don't have the time, because I have the time, I'm lazy, for one thing, but I'm also scared, and I'm also furious and confused even with how this whole program has turned out to be. In just a short few years, believe me. But it is what it is, and I just have to learn to accept that. I still hop on this program hoping that I can have that same feeling or enjoyment that I had like 6-7 years ago, even though I know that I'm not going to feel it. It's just, I'm ready to take that risk. And that is the overall truth as to why I have a hard time uploading on YouTube. It's not because I'm lack of time. It's not because I cringe at every video I upload. It's just, it's not entertaining anymore. And it probably won't be. It's not to say that I'm giving up. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do what I love on this platform, and I'm gonna do it right, and I'm gonna do it that everyone appreciates. I'm not gonna do it based on what I have and to make people smaller than me. I'm gonna treat everyone. I want to treat everyone free and fairly. I'm just as human as you. I may have some things, and I may not have some things. You may have some things, and I may not have some things. Whatever the case is, I have to be appreciative. I have to be, congratulated to what I have. Because the minute I fall in that trap in which I feel like I have everything, I got the house, I got everything, I got the money, whatever, and I start showing that off to people, I'm more immune to fall into this trap of ending up in the wrong position at the wrong time and me not even realizing it. And that's, you can, celebrities, especially with celebrities who are big, they're either their channels or their talk show hosts or whatever, or, on the news or whatever, they have a higher chance at ending up in this wrong trap. And they didn't even know they did anything wrong, okay? All it takes is like a few words, a comment, a video, or whatever. Just a few words to come out of their mouth and notification. Come out of their mouth and they'll end up in the wrong position. And they won't even know they got there, and they won't even know they did anything wrong. And that is the pandemic or the epidemic or whatever, the disease of not just YouTube, but the internet in general. And that's why I'm still scared and hesitant to just, show my face to the world. Even my voice. Because at the end of the day, I'm vulnerable to ending up in the wrong side at the wrong time. So that is why I have really just declined from participating in YouTube. It felt like I was doing nothing. I was doing nothing even though I was giving it my best. I was gaining nothing even though I was doing my best. And that's how it's going to be, and I've got to accept it. I have to be appreciative because there's, I live here in the U.S., okay? I have opportunities, and I have so much I can learn and do. It's a matter of how I learn it, and also when I learn it. I obviously want to learn sooner than later, but I also want to do it the right way. And that's the whole thing with YouTube. Now on to the year. Honestly, believe me when I say this year has just driven everyone crazy beyond, their breaking point. And they think, oh, once this year's over, everything will be fine. No, it's not. It's probably going to be even a part 2. And that's what I'm afraid of. I don't want a part 2 of this year. But, take this year to reflect for your New Year's Eve reflection. Not to say, I'm going to do this. Say, I'm going to learn this. I'm going to accomplish this. I'm going to, cope with this. I'm going to accept this. The idea that I can't have everything. I can't obtain everything. And even if I did, it's not going to get me anywhere. I'm still going to question myself. I'm still going to make mistakes. I'm still going to be I'm still going to be that one person in the entire world. It's hard. Believe me. But I'm fine. This isn't a matter of me going through a hard time. This isn't a matter of any event that, forbidden me from doing YouTube. I'm fine, believe me. I'm only saying this because nowadays the world is going insane, and it's only going to get even worse. I'm just here to provide a few words of knowledge to help you, to make sure you don't end up in the same trap that I'm falling into, but I haven't gotten out yet. Believe me, this is gonna get better, but when it does, I hope people can learn from this. I hope people don't, look off from this year. I hope people remember this year so it doesn't happen again, or so they can learn from it. And so for future generations, they can tell their generations, their kids or grandkids or whatever, that, hey, life isn't simple. It's never going to get simple even for you. But you can make better choices and better actions than I can. God, I'm sounding like a therapist right now, but that's overall the reason why YouTube is just changed. Why I've changed mentally on YouTube. Why I declined myself in uploads. Because life is limited, and I can't treat it like a joke. But sometimes life is a joke. In fact, you're more likely to die from from suffocation from laughter than you are from depression. And that's the thing, people treat life like a joke, but they don't know it. They don't know that they're treating life like it's a joke. They don't treat it like a gift. And I'm still in that mistake. But I've learned to just cope with it, learn to accept it, and if I can do any way to make it better, I'm going to take that risk. But yeah, that's my confession. If it wasn't even a confession at this point, I don't even know. But this is overall the idea of why YouTube just sort of changed, and why I've changed, and why I declined in doing anything on YouTube, is because it just wasn't right. It didn't feel right. I hope that in future times when I'm older and even more wiser than I am today, I make better choices as not a YouTuber, but as a human being. Because before I was a YouTuber, before I was an entertainer, before I was anything, I was born a human. And I gotta live like one before I can do anything else. Yeah, I think that's it. I really have not much to say. Other than the idea that, you stay safe, wear a mask, because believe me, it's only gonna get worse before it gets better with this whole pandemic and everything. But we're getting there. We have to keep our sanity in any way, shape, or form. Again, it's just so hard for anyone to gain so much and yet to obtain so little. But yeah, I really have not much to say. This isn't anything about me and why I feel like, oh my god, I hate everything I do in my life. It's nothing like that. It's nothing wrong with me. It's just something wrong with the world, and I'm just trying to help out as much as I can. And I'm gonna try and upload this, and I'm gonna regret uploading it a few hours later. But I hope you understand. I hope you all have a happy new year, and I hope the next year, you'll all be safe and it'll all be better. Whew, man. I mean, I lost my breath just making this speech. But thank you for everything. Up to this point, I have felt like nobody, but thank you for... No, wait, what am I even saying? No, up to this point, I felt like I could finally be the real me. The real Adam. The real Adam Redfire, if you even want to call it. But, thank you for accepting the... if you stick to the end of this video, thank you for listening for my words of acknowledgement and motivation, because this year has, driven people crazy. And it's only going to drive a lot more people crazy. But you have to realize life, again, is limited. And the end of the world could come much sooner than you anticipated. And I'm saying this like an essay, because, you gotta have your thesis at the beginning, and then they're like, tie everything up, and then have it in your conclusion. That's kind of what I'm doing right now. So, thank you. And may you all have a blessed new year.